Hi, this is Mrs. Bolin with your notes for 1.1. So first, let's start by going over the warm-up. Remember that when we have 7 negatives and 8 negatives, that makes 15 negatives all together. You can think about putting it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negatives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 negatives. None of those cancel because they're all the same sign. So you would just count how many negatives you have all together. Another way to think about positives and negatives is to think the positive team doesn't have any points on the board. The negative team scored 7, the negative team scored 8. So altogether, the negative team has 15 points. Question number 2, same thing. If I have 10 positives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I have 12, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 negatives, 10 of those will cancel and I'll have 2 negatives left. So -2. You can also think the positive team scored 10, the negative team scored 12. So the negative team is winning by 2. Or you have $10, you try to buy something that costs $12 and you are $2 short. Okay, same thing if we have x's attached. We just look at the coefficients. So if I have 4 negatives and 6 positives, then 4 of those would cancel. I have 2 positives left, so we have +2, but because we're talking about how many x's we have, x would stick to our answer. Okay, for this one, we just distribute. Remember that anytime you have something touching parentheses, it means multiplication. So 2 times x would be 2x, and 2 times -5 would be -10. That would be your answer. Okay, today we're going to be looking at solving one-step equations. And basically what we're doing is we're working the problem backwards to figure out the missing value. So if we have x minus 3, equals some number, take away 3 equals 5, I would add the 3 back on to figure out what my original number is. So you can look at the -3. We're going to do the opposite, the inverse operation to that would be +3. But remember that where that equation is, it's like a scale. I'm evenly balanced right there. So if I add 3 to one side, to keep it balanced, I have to add 3 to the other side and it stays balanced. Okay. So if I add 3 to the other side, then I get x is equal to 8. And that is my final answer. Good idea to draw a box around your answers like that. So look at problem number 2 on the practice. This one, we always start by finding the letter. There's the letter. This time it's on the other side of the equation. So we see what's happening to the y. It has a +12. So we do the inverse operation, which would be take away 12 or -12. Remember that wherever the equation is, that's our balance point. Pretend like that was a straight line. And we do the same thing on both sides of that line. Okay, so on this side, +12 and -12, those are inverse operations. They cancel each other out. So we're left with the y. Copy the equal sign, 9 take away 12 is -3. So remember that in algebra, the way that you show your work is just as important as getting the correct answer. A lot of you guys could look at something and figure out, oh, what number take away 3 is 5? Like a lot of you would know, that's 8. Okay, but what we're teaching you right now is how to show your steps in algebra, because once we get onto more complex problems, it will really, really, really make a difference. I know sometimes it feels silly right now, but please, please, please just write it out. There are not that many problems. So just be disciplined, write it out, even if you don't need to, okay? So for this one, a lot of students that I have would just skip this because they're like, oh, it's a fraction. I don't know how to do fractions. Don't think about it that way. This is actually one of the easier problems because so this means y divided by 3. The opposite of that, or the inverse operation of divide by 3, is times by 3. So when I times by 3 and divide by 3, they cancel. So on this side I have y, and then 6 times 3 is 18. So even though it looks like a division problem, it's actually a multiplication problem. So this one, remember, anytime we have a number touching a letter, it means multiply. So this says 11 times some number equals 55. If we want to find what that number is, we could do the inverse operation, which would be divide by 11 on both sides. And so we get z is equal to 5. Okay, word problems. I'll just skip those. No, I'm just kidding. We still have to do the word problems. All right, so you thought the balance in your checking account was $68, but when your bank statement arrives, you realize that you forgot to record a check. The bank statement lists your balance as $26. write and solve an equation to find the amount of the check that you forgot to record. Okay, so you thought it was $68, but that really is your balance of 26 plus some amount that you forgot to record. So I'm going to take away the 26 and I'm going to get X is equal to 42. So I thought I had $68. If I really take away that check for 42, that brings me back down to 26, which is what we were expecting. Okay, so I should give the correct unit, so $42. Question number 6, you clean a community park for 6.5 hours. You earn $42.25. Write and solve an equation to find how much you earn per hour. So if I work for 6.5 hours times the number of hours, that will give me the total that I made, $42.25. So we're going to divide by 6.5 on both sides. Divide by 6.5. So X equals, is that going to be 6 something? Let's see. I'm going to use my calculator. So 42.25 divided by 6.5, and we get 6.5. All right. So next problem, and then we always want to give this in units. So how much you earn per hour. So it would be $6.50. We already know how many hours I worked, so I want to put my hourly rate. Okay, we're going to switch on over to the homework assignment. I'm going to do just the odd problems. I think you guys can use the odds to figure out how to do the evens and then get your answers entered into Canvas. Remember, you have to do all the problems, but I want you to try the even ones on your own. Try the odd ones on your own though too. Pause the video, try the problem, and then check your answer, okay? So for question number 1, we do the opposite of, there's the W, we do the opposite of +4, so we go -4 on both sides, so W equals 12. I'm gonna skip the even one. You guys can do that one on your own. Question number 3, there's the W, so I need to find what is happening to the W. Even though there's a plus right here, this is a -15. So I needed the opposite, which is of -15, so I do +15 on both sides. So that cancels. W is equal to 21. We're going to move right on to the next odd problem. You can try this one on your own, +5 on both sides. This one, we're going to find the letter, and then we see what's happening to the Y. It has a -9. So the opposite of -9 would be +9 on both sides. Remember, you can pause the video at any time if I'm going too fast. So then we have the Y stays there, -2 and +9. Remember, you can always write out 2 minuses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 of them would cancel, so I have 7 pluses left. If they're positive, we don't have to write the plus on it. You would just leave it a +7. Okay, we're going to skip number 6 right now, but you would divide by 7 on that one. We're going to go down to this one. We're going to divide by 4 on both sides because that's the opposite of times. So remember, we always do the inverse operation. And whatever we do to one side, we have to do the other. So we get B equals, have you guys ever learned short division before? It's my favorite. Okay, so you go 4 goes into 5 one time with 1 left over, and it was a negative, so I should have had a negative right there, sorry. Okay, and then you go 4 goes into 12 because we put that 1 right there, 1, 2, 12, 4 goes into 12 3 times, and that's our answer. Bam, short division. Okay, so 52 divided by 4 is 13. You can check it in your calculators, that's right. And then make sure you don't forget that negative on there like I did at first. Okay, we're gonna skip number 8, but this one, remember, you would be multiplying by the same thing on each side. You guys finish that problem on your own. Question number 9. So this is it's being divided by -2. The opposite of divide by -2 is times by -2. So I'm going to do that on both sides. So I get n is equal to 30. Okay, because a negative times a negative is positive, in case you forgot. All right. Oh, last question is an even one. See if you guys can figure that one out on your own. Okay, I will see you tomorrow with our next video.